Hey everyone, Shabby here, and welcome to our second episode in this SWE universe mode of Octane. Last week was a high-flying spectacle, but this week we have got even better matches planned from you here from Tampa, Florida. Let's go. And of course, we only have 3 matches now on these smaller shows. We have had 2 dark matches already. Bushi won a 6-man over-the-top rope battle royal, defeating Jack Gallagher, Akira Tozawa, Joey Ryan, Noam Dar, and Brian Pillman. And I must admit, that's a surprising victory for me. I wouldn't expect that with Bushi. I honestly thought there were some stronger names in that match, but he's done very, very well there. And also, we've seen Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero defeating the Lucha Dragons, Kalisto and Sin Cara. So we have 3 matches lined up for you in this episode. We're going to have reDragon taking on the Dynasty, Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee. Will Ospreay takes on Fenix, and our main event. Wow, what a match this is. A very retro match, old WCW style. Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Eddie Guerrero. So without further ado, let's get straight into our opening match. And here we go. Our opening match this week. Now, don't forget, if you nip over to the Twitter page in the description down below, we do have a poll on there at the moment about who is going to be main eventing next week's episode of Throwdown, taking on Jay Lethal for the United States Championship. Now, I think we're also going to do the same thing here on Octane. Now, I've been trying to think of a good one to do. I was thinking about whether we should have... I keep saying a lot, don't I, these days? I was thinking about doing whether we should have Neville versus Ibushi in the next couple of weeks on Octane to give us a really good episode of Octane, or whether we wait and save it up for a pay-per-view. Now that's a question. I'm not 100% sure what to do on that one. I should imagine if I put that out to the vote, you guys just want to see that match as straight as possible. And I think I want to see that match as soon as possible as well, really. But also I think maybe... who should challenge the Young Bucks for the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships, again, is another important little thing that we need to have a look at. Now, I think that might end up being the poll this week. Who should take on the Young Bucks for the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships in the next couple of weeks? Maybe even next week, we could do that match. The Young Bucks versus... I've got to look at the other teams then, haven't I? Let's have a look at the other teams on this Octane roster while we get into this match. Don't need to fully commentate for all the matches, we get a bit bored doing that way. Right, let's nip into my folder of YouTube stuff. It's amazing how organised I am these days. I tell you, I've got folders and I've got documents and lists and all sorts. It's all printed off on nice paper, laminated, all sorts. Right. We have got, available for Octane, representing Mayhem, Owen Hart and Brian Pillman of the Hart Foundation. I don't know about that, you know, I don't know. I like that, but at the same time, I don't know if it's a little unrealistic, because those 2 guys... I don't know, those 2 guys ever tag team a lot together? I don't think they did, really. DIY, Ciampa and Gargano is definitely a good shout. American Wolves, of course, had the original... Did they have the original match? I think they did, did they? Yeah, they did, didn't they? And we've also got the Sky Blondes, Jack Evans and Angelica. We'll probably leave them because they are the #1 contenders to the Mayhem Tag Team Championships. Got Time Splitters, that's a good one. Alex Shelley and Kushida, that's a very strong team. And of course, Dynasty, we have in the ring now Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee. Now, of course, over on my roster, Octane, we have Roppongi Vice, who picked up a good victory earlier on against the Lucha Dragons. Of course, we've got reDragon, who's in the ring right now. Got the Lucha Dragons, and we've got Los Ingobernables from New Japan, of course. We've got Takahashi and Bushi, and that's the same as Hart Foundation, really. They're 2 guys in the same stable, but they're not necessarily the tag team from that stable. So from this, I would take then maybe DIY and Time Splitters from Octane. Then maybe Roppongi Vice and reDragon. I think so. But then again, with that big win for Bushi earlier on, it's tricky, isn't it? I want to sort of have 2 tag teams from each roster to make it fair, but then again, we could have DIY, we could have the Times... I think DIY and Time Splitters are definitely 2 that we should definitely have. Roppongi Vice picked up a good victory earlier on as well. And then it's sort of, for me, it's between reDragon and Dynasty. Maybe whoever wins this match will join them. And again, like I said, if you want to nip down there now, it'll probably be up there by now by the time you're watching this. yeah, nip over to the Twitter page and you will see, not just this poll, I'm going to try and start doing a lot more polls as time goes on. I want to try and do, sort of try and get you guys a bit more involved, because you are the reason why I started this new universe mode and started going a bit outside the box and creating our own company and having these extra shows and championships and so forth. And I'm really enjoying it, so I really want to thank you guys for that. But like I said, I just want to make sure that you guys are still entertained, and I think by giving you some input on the universe mode is, I think, the best way forward. And it's good because it makes sure that obviously I am actually doing what you guys want to see, because I know what I'm like for pushing the guys that I want to see. Why is that done that for? Yeah, I know what I'm like for pushing the guys that I want to see. I'm just having a quick click on now, see if I can find the poll for Throwdown. Where are we at the moment? We have had 4 votes. It's not great, but we do have an outright leader at the moment. 4 votes, 1 vote for Morrison, 1 vote for Macho Man, and 2 votes for Shinsuke Nakamura. So at this point in time, Nakamura is going to get that championship match against Jay Lethal. But like I said, there is a lot of time left to vote on that one. And there's also a lot of time left to vote on this one, which will be the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship #1 contenders. The winners of this poll will take on the Young Bucks, probably next week, I would imagine. So yeah, check that out. And I might also put another poll on there to see whether you guys would like to see the Cruiserweight Championship match this week. I think we probably will hold that. I'm not going to do it as a poll. We'll hold that off. If we're going to have the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships next week, that's going to be week 3. And I don't really want to have both championship matches on one show. So then it'd be waiting until week 4. Then week 4 is basically the pay-per-view anyway. So we won't do that. So you guys can decide the Cruiserweight Tag Team #1 contenders this week. And then next week on Octane we will have that match. And maybe we might have our first title changes in this universe mode. Of course, everyone's got a hold of the belt so far. Nobody's had to defend them as yet. Jay Lethal's defense is going to be the first, unless PJ Tovey pulls something out of the bag over on Mayhem. Pin there by Bobby Fish after that spinning kick. Ooh, almost enough. I'm not quite sure if Trevor Lee got there to save Andrew Everett there, or if Kyle O'Reilly blocked him off, but it was close nonetheless. Bobby Fish now driving the knee into the inside of the... driving the elbow into the inside of the knee. I've not had anything to drink yet, so I'm slurring my words. I'm sure I seem to be a lot more capable of doing this when I've had a few drinks, you know. Neck breaker there by Andrew Everett. And this is an interesting match, this one. I would have thought that reDragon would probably be the outright favourites of this one. However, you can never really tell on this game, and Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee are no... They're no lightweights. They're no enhancement team. They're definitely here themselves to make an impact here in this universe mode and pick up some gold if they should get the opportunity to. And of course, don't forget we still have 2 massive matches for you after this one. We have got Will Ospreay versus Fenix, 2 of the best high flyers in the entire world. And then of course our main event this evening, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr. And I'm going to sort of have a go at a guess here. It's not a guess as such, but I want to say Halloween Havoc 96 was their sort of legendary match as one of the best matches of the generation. Sort of put the paving stones out there for cruiserweights to really sort of take the centre stage over on WCW, and they did do that really. Although they were used very much as openers, they really did... wow, look at that. That was a hell of a rotation on that as well. And it's only a 2 count. I thought Andrew Everett might have that on 1 there. And like I was saying, you can't write these 2 guys off. This is a really good Trevor Lee core, isn't it? Really, really good. And Andrew Everett's quite good as well. Saying that all 4 of these guys are actually really good created wrestlers, aren't they? I have really tried to make sure the best ones were in there. And a few people have sort of mentioned where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so. And I completely agree, there are some big names that didn't quite make the grade in this universe mode. However, a lot of them didn't make the grade because the created wrestlers weren't fantastic. So that's why we sort of left a few out here and there. If we can get a better core, then we probably will do. What I intend on doing is when the Hall of Fame showcase comes out in... I believe it's going to be in the next week or so keep an eye out for that. When that does come out, myself and PJ Tovey might have a little sort of draft episode. We'll pick in the maybe another 4 draft picks each, just to try and use the new DLC. I don't know if there's many people on there we're going to want, but we're not going to be limited to using the DLC members, but I think it gives us a chance to bring them in should we want to. Of course, you've got people on there such as Jacqueline, who would really help our female division because ours is not too strong over on Throwdown. And we've got the fabulous Freebirds and the Von Erichs as well. Big Boss Man, and Papa Shango and Godfather. And I think there's more as well, isn't there? Sharpshooter now locked in here by Kyle O'Reilly. Very well known for his submission style. Not necessarily a sharpshooter. Normally goes for more sort of ankle lock and, of course, he's finishing with the armbar. But it's not quite effective, though, as Andrew Everett does break free. But it's clever because when you're doing moves like that to Everett's legs and his lower back, it does reduce some of his high-flying ability, which is a clever sort of thing for reDragon to do. Of course, when you get Trevor Lee in there, Trevor Lee is much more of a ground and pounder. Trevor Lee, for me, was the natural successor to Sami Callihan on the indie scene, of course, until Sami Callihan came back. Obviously, he doesn't need an actual successor now, does he? But Everett now climbing the ropes up to the top. What's he looking for now? Again, another 680 senton straight into the pin. 1, 2. Oh, my God. And Kyle O'Reilly's kicked out of that. I think Bobby Fischer's kicked out of one of those as well. I can't believe the resilience these guys are showing, but at the moment it sort of shows that Dynasty are really in control of this one. As Lee comes into the game now, I was about to say comes onto the pitch, but neither of those sentences were correct. I'm not doing very well here. Trevor Lee now just stomping into the back of Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish looked like he was thinking about that. Wasn't sure whether he was going to drop himself down to the dirty tactics, but eventually did go for it, and you can't blame him when you're putting yourself in that situation. I think it only makes sense that you've got to really take advantage, haven't you, really? reDragon have struggled so far in this match. If they can get a little bit of an advantage like that, they've got to take it. Kyle O'Reilly fighting back now with that front slam after the 2 shoulder blocks, bringing Trevor Lee back up to his feet, taking him up into the air, into a brainbuster. Kyle O'Reilly now, instead of going for the pin there, looks to try and grab the arm of Trevor Lee, who fights way back up to his feet and uses that big forearm. Like I say, ground and pound cruiserweight style there of Trevor Lee. It's the way he's always been. Kyle O'Reilly now sending Trevor Lee into the corner though. Hoist him up top. What's he got planned here? A big slap to the face. What is Kyle O'Reilly going for? Oh, Kyle, no. No, Kyle, don't. Oh, my God, he's just suplexed him to the outside. Well, I believe Trevor Lee may have just died. That is not a good situation for either of these two guys to be in, because effectively, Kyle O'Reilly's just done as much damage to his back as he may have done to Trevor Lee, but Kyle O'Reilly doesn't manage to make the tag into Bobby Fish. Now, Bobby Fish literally like shooting fish in a barrel here to try and finish this match. There's the pin. 1, 2. Kyle O'Reilly, oh, he took Andrew Everett out of it, but I think the amount of time it took between the massive superplex and for Bobby Fish to go for the pin was just too long. Bobby Fish now enjoying punching some fresh air now. Changes his mind. It's good. And I think all of a sudden now, it looks like reDragon have taken full control of this match. It started off with a very, very strong Dynasty control of this match, but I think that big superplex on Trevor Lee may have just changed things. What is Bobby Fish going for now? Hoisting Trevor Lee up onto the top rope as well. Trevor can't take much more of this, surely. I think Bobby Fish is going to go for another superplex, this time into the ring. Not, oh, it's a Super Falcon Arrow. Beautiful move there by Bobby Fish. Just dropping his knee into the face, and you see Trevor Lee's already been busted open. Those knees are just going to open that wound and make it worse and worse. And I think you can see more blood coming down the face of Trevor Lee already, although very much like a Sami Callihan, the blood seems to be spurring him on. Lee with the 2 big back elbows. Look at the blood pouring down his face now. And catches Bobby Fish. Went for the Saito suplex. Bobby Fish flips out. But Trevor Lee catches him with a big right hand, then into a German suplex. And Trevor Lee needs to make this tag now. He's taken a few big moves. He sort of went across to make that tag, but sort of fought against it. Now going back to try and attack Bobby Fish. Trevor Lee taking him up. Oh, the suplex powerbomb. Great move there by Trevor Lee, but he needs to capitalize on that, and it wasn't the best in-ring positioning to do so. Doesn't even make the pin. It doesn't make the pin, though. He just brings in Andrew Everett. Now, can Everett finish Bobby Fish off here? Everett's going to go high flying. It's where he is best. Frog splash to the back of Bobby Fish. Fish, though, catching Everett straight to his shoulders. Everett fighting back with the elbows into the face of Bobby Fish. Into a head scissors takedown. Grabs the leg for the pin. 2. And he's done it. Andrew Everett's done it. Wow. That is a big victory for Dynasty. That is a big, big victory. And you know what? I think I might give him reDragon's place, you know, in that poll. After a win like that. No, I'm not. I'm going to give them DIYs. I don't know what I want to do here. I only get to pick 4 names or 4 teams for the poll. However, at the moment, well, the way I look at it is DIY and American Wolves have both had opportunities for tag team gold over on Mayhem. Sky Blondes are the current #1 contenders as well. So I think it's only fair if it's Time Splitters and Dynasty. After this big victory here for Dynasty, I think they deserve to be in there. So we are going to do that. We're going to do Time Splitters, Dynasty, and then from Octane, we are going to go, not from Octane, we're on Octane now, from Throwdown, we are going to go Roppongi Vice and reDragon. So like I said, nip down to the description below. There will be a link to the Twitter page, and also go over to there. Make sure you've already voted on the poll for Throwdown. Who do you want to see in that main event next week? And of course, vote on this poll as well for who you want to see face off against the Young Bucks for the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships next week as well. So here we go, 2 of the best high flyers in the world will now collide. Will Ospreay versus Fenix. And here we go then, 2 of the best high flyers in the world at the moment. Will Ospreay, of course, working for New Japan, but still allowed to work at various indies across the world as well. And Fenix, I didn't realise this until reading a bit of news recently, but Fenix has been out of contract with AAA now for nearly a year and is working all the independent shows he wants, as is now Pentagon Jr. or El Penta El Cierro Miedo now, I think his name is. Because he can't use Pentagon because it is a copyrighted name from AAA. But I think it's because of the strong dollar against the peso, I suppose. The likes of Fenix and Pentagon can just earn a hell of a lot more money by doing the indies. So I believe it's What Culture Pro Wrestling, which is in the UK, this week does have both Ray and why are they calling him Ray Fenix? Some people call him Ray Fenix. I think that must be his first name, maybe. But yeah, we are going to see Fenix versus Pentagon Jr. at this week's What Culture Wrestling. As well as, of course, Will Ospreay versus Ricochet as well on that show. There's some big matches on that show, actually. It's a really big card, really stacked card. Del Rio versus Kurt Angle's on there as well. And there's also Zack Sabre Jr. on there as well, I think, faced off against somebody. There's a lot of good stuff on there, there really is. But I'm sure this match will come to fruition somewhere in the world very, very soon. And it makes you wonder if guys like Fenix and Pentagon are now free agents, would New Japan have a look? Because they're missing some big name talent now. I say they're missing some big name talent now. They've been missing some big name talent for a while. And they seem to have gone from strength to strength this year by... It's all about picking the right people, isn't it? And I think that's what New Japan have done. They've picked the right people. They've brought Omega up into the main event picture. They've pushed Naito up into the upper mid-card picture / main event picture as well. They've already got Okada and Tanahashi. And I think that's what you need to do is just pick the right person to push up, which is what WWE have not necessarily done over the past few years. They're not really picking the right person. It's like, if you look at some of the people that pushed hard over the last few years, if you look at Ryback, for example, just did not work. You look at Roman Reigns right now, just not working. They've got to pick the right person, and I don't understand why don't they just ask the fans? Why don't they just do like a, not sort of like an online poll, who do you want us to see us, who do you want to see us push, but just get like a what's it group, a focus group of different fans from different backgrounds, from different countries maybe, and say, look, what would you want to see? Because I'm sure people like Cesaro then would actually get their final push, and I don't know what's going on with Cesaro now. Now he's lost the tag team championships. Is he going to go back to feuding with Sheamus? Will he finally get that draft across to SmackDown and be able to go all out on a singles run? Because if you look over on SmackDown right now, guys like Baron Corbin, guys like The Miz are back in the main event now. Guys like Dolph Ziggler are back in the main event picture. Guys that have never really seen the main event picture for a good few years. So you think to yourself, if guys like Cesaro are over there as well, then we might see some good stuff. I'm a little bit disappointed with the Samoa Joe situation. It's great that he's debuted on the main roster. However, it was sort of mentioned for quite some time that Joe would be joining SmackDown and bolstering their main event picture, which would have been fantastic. But eventually, of course, like everyone else, joined Raw. Now, I'm just a bit annoyed because Raw just seems to get so much talent. If you were to have a look, I bet you can find it somewhere. I'm probably going to get all these numbers wrong, but if you have a look at the amount of people that Raw have gained on their roster since the draft compared to what SmackDown's gained on their roster since the draft, Raw must easily have 10 times the amount. Easily. That is a hell of a line salt there by Ospreay, the entire ring. If you look at SmackDown, for example, they've gained Heath Slater, Rhino, Kurt Hawkins, Luke Harper. Is that it? Just them 4? And Mickie James. So 5. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably more. But that's all I can think of. Raw has gained Bayley. They've gained Samoa Joe now. They've gained all of the cruiserweights, which is about 10, 12 names as it is anyway. They've gained Brock Lesnar. Well, Brock Lesnar was drafted. They gained Goldberg. They seem to have taken The Undertaker from SmackDown over to Raw now because Raw's ratings weren't as high as SmackDown. I think that's probably why they did the Samoa Joe thing as well. And it just seems like Raw's just getting so many more people. When SmackDown is struggling, Raw just seems to get 1 or 2 more names once again. Power slam there by Fenix. Yeah, see, I want to see SmackDown just get 1 or 2 names. Maybe when the draft... I'm imagining... I said this in yesterday's episode. I would imagine there will be a draft special episode the night after WrestleMania where we might see some people sort of switch between Raw and SmackDown, but maybe even a couple of guys move up from NXT as well. I'm assuming after the NXT the WrestleMania weekend. I keep calling it that because I've got no idea what it's going to be called. Great moonsault there by Fenix. He could have gone for the pin there. He does finally go for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, it's only a 2 count. Wow, what a match this has been so far. And I've not even been talking about it really. But I'm assuming that after the NXT for WrestleMania weekend, we'll probably see both Nakamura and the Revival and probably Asuka all join the main roster. Maybe not Asuka, because maybe she'll want a rematch for a championship, but definitely the Revival and Nakamura, in my opinion, will move up. I think Asuka should move up. I think Asuka should lose the belt. That's why I'm a bit confused. I thought she was going to lose the belt in the 4-woman match, because it just made sense for her to lose it where she wasn't pinned and could go up onto the main roster without any sort of hangover from it, still with an undefeated streak, because I don't think there's anybody in NXT with that sort of quality or that sort of build-up at the moment that would mean they'd be able to defeat somebody like Asuka, who has been undefeated for so long. Fenix reversing that head scissors into a powerbomb. Now bringing Ospreay back up to his feet. This is a very big match, this one, because these are probably 2 of the main contenders looking to get their hands on that Cruiserweight Championship. So the winner of this match will definitely be hosted up the rankings. Of course, we know that Neville is the #1 contender and will be facing off against Kota Ibushi at our first pay-per-view in a couple of weeks' time. I'm thinking what I might do for that is I might give you guys the decision on the match stipulation for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think that might be a good idea. I think what I'd like to do maybe is like a full episode of like a sort of Cyber Monday. Was it Cyber Monday, or I can't remember what it's called now. And there is eventually the win there by Fenix. It looked like Fenix was going to win for quite some time, and he does pull it out of the bag. So that, again, is a victory for Mayhem over Throwdown. I tell you what, I'm not doing too well. Am I really? I'm not doing too well. In this sort of the competitiveness between the two brands, it seems like Mayhem always just seems to come out on top, and I'm not too worried. I think it's just a few jitters here and there. I think that neck thing looks very dangerous, doesn't it? I think it's just still it's early doors. It's early doors, but Ospreay is rated higher than Fenix, but Fenix gets the victory. That's going to boost him up the rankings for the Cruiserweight Championship as well. And here we go. Here is our main event for this episode of Octane. A real throwback match, this one. Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Eddie Guerrero. And here we go. Such a massive match, this one. And like I said in the last match, wow, that's a pretty cool looking entrance attire, isn't it? He's got a Roman helmet on this time. This is really random, isn't it? I don't know who's been creating these attires. I think they're all Lucha Underground based, but like I said, I'm still behind the Lucha Underground. I'm just about to, hopefully after I've recorded this, I'm going to watch part 1 of Ultima Lucha Dos. So hopefully by this weekend I should have watched all of Season 2. And then I can crack on with Season 3 then as well. And I'm sure this is probably something that he has worn at some point. I'll tell you one thing that I was surprised about, and you guys might agree me on this or you might be laughing at me right now, but I just sort of assumed that Rey was past his best, but watching him over in Lucha Underground, he's still got quite a lot to offer, and it would not surprise me if we do see him back at WWE for a small period of time. It looks like if used correctly and not overdone, he can remain injury-free. So it would not surprise me if he was given a short stint again in the WWE. Why not? If they brought Rey back for a short amount of time, that could really elevate the Cruiserweight division. It really could. So like I was saying, the last match, obviously Will Ospreay versus Fenix, two massive names potential for the Cruiserweight Championship. And very much the same for this match as well. Of course, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, two names that will definitely be looking to get themselves in that Cruiserweight Championship picture. Eddie's a bit of a... what's the way? He's a bit of an enigma. With what we can do with him, really. We could use him for the television championship. I keep saying that, but we can't because he's on Throwdown. We could use him for the Throwdown United States Championship. We could use him even for the Throwdown Championship. Hell, we could even team him with somebody and give him for the Throwdown Tag Team Championships. But it could also, again, be a Cruiserweight Champion here as well. I think out of everyone on the Universe mode, I think Eddie Guerrero might be someone who would definitely see gold at some point in this Universe mode. And that's mainly because he's just got so many different alleys he can go down. But who knows? Right, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. The bell goes and we are underway. And then again, it's the same for Rey, really. I could use Rey as a main eventer. I don't really see him as much of a main eventer for him, for us, like I say. I think Cruiserweight Championship is definitely where his home will lie in this Universe mode. But I don't think that's a bad thing, because we are trying to use the Cruiserweight Championship as a much more high-profile belt than what the WWE currently has it as. Of course, it's got its own show, and we've got some pretty big names on that show as well. So why not use it to its full potential? I don't really want to buffer it as some sort of opening sort of championship like WWE do. I want to try and use it as a very prestigious belt, and I think it will be like that. When you've got matches like Ibushi versus Neville for the championship, then you know it's a high quality belt, and that match is going to be incredible. Like I said, what I'll probably do over the next couple of weeks, maybe next week leading up to that show, we will probably give you a poll to see what stipulation you want that match to be. One match I've not done on this game yet at all. No one suggested it. I haven't quite had a reason to use it yet in the universe mode, and that's a tables match. Apparently it had a massive upgrade during the development of this game, and it works a lot better. Because I know there are quite a few match types that do work really well, and there's quite a few match types that have obviously deteriorated, such as tag team matches don't seem to work as well at the moment, because there's just quite a few AI issues within the tag team match. But things like triple threats and fatal four ways do work quite well, as long as we do obviously get the finish. Well, Eddie now taking the top off the turnbuckle pad. We lie, we cheat, we steal. So yeah, I think that's yeah. I know what I was talking about now. I've just seen a picture of Ali on my other computer. I say Ali. I've just seen a picture of Cherry Bomb on my other computer, and it just completely stopped me for no reason. I'm completely lost now. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought completely. I've got no idea what's going on now. Right now, sending Eddie Guerrero into the corner. I'm sure it was important, whatever I was saying. Right now, beautiful Lucha Libre style arm drag. I quite like in this Rey Mysterio attire, actually. It's a bit more sort of not generic. It's a bit more of a standard attire compared to his other one that we saw last week, which was essentially Batman, wasn't it? Really. Right now, just forcing the arm of Eddie into the mat, stamping on the inside of the arm as well. I can't believe I just completely lost my train of thought then. I'm trying my hardest to try and remember what it was now, and I've completely lost it. It was match types, wasn't it? That's what it was. Yeah, we're not using table match yet. We know triple threats and fatal four ways have improved when we can get a decent finish of the match. It's sometimes they can drag on a bit because we don't get a good finish. Ladder matches are a little bit iffy, but on the whole seem to be okay. I think a fatal four-way ladder match works quite well. A singles ladder match doesn't, because there's not enough people to try and bring people down. And a six-man ladder match is maybe too many people that you can't get a finish, if that makes sense. So I think fatal four-way is sort of the best part of the match. Tables matches, like I said, I've not tried myself, but from what I've seen, it looks like it has been fixed pretty well. A lot of the stipulation matches are not fantastic. I'm a big fan of Hell in a Cell in real life, when it's worth a Hell in a Cell match, not when it's just a gimmick pay-per-view and they just have to make one for no reason. So I think if we could have a Hell in a Cell match on this game where they do try and use the environment to its full ability, like breaking the cell wall down or getting through the door and climbing on the top and throwing people for announce tables, if they did stuff like that, was a bit more sort of AI driven, I think that sort of matched up me really good. Cage matches are okay. Again, not fantastic. They can have very dodgy finishes. They can take forever to finish, and they can finish in literally seconds for some reason as well. So that's still a little bit ropey, that type of match. Six-man tags are just useless. Don't even bother even trying a six-man tag match, because I've been here for over an hour once trying to finish a six-man tag match, and I think I ended up just cutting out the video. Yeah, there's only a few match types that really work pretty well. Oh, Rey catching. Oh, Rey just caught Eddie Guerrero from a frog splash into a rock bottom. Wow. Where did Rey get that from? Went for a springboard leg drop and completely missed it. And Eddie's back up on his feet. So these two guys could team. Their attires are very similar with the black and the green. Then again, that's very Mexican colours, black and green, I suppose, isn't it? But I wouldn't be adverse to having a Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio tag team for a short period of time. Maybe build it up to a splitting of a tag team. Having them feud from that, I think that'd be pretty decent. But these guys could be Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions easily. Another belt for Eddie to get into, and there is the frog splash by Eddie. Straight into the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. Eddie Guerrero picks up the victory over Rey Mysterio. And that's 2 big wins here then for Fenix and Eddie Guerrero in this episode. And also a massive win for Dynasty over reDragon. So that is a great bit of play for both Guerrero and Fenix. That's going to really raise them both up the championship rankings. Obviously heading towards either Ibushi or Neville after our first pay-per-view, which I believe we will hopefully have some announcements for you this weekend on that first pay-per-view. It looks like I'm going to change it again. I did say King of Pro Wrestling, but evidently the show I thought I'd made up ended up actually being a New Japan pay-per-view that I just sort of forgotten about. So I'm thinking we might do some sort of World Cup-based knockout tournament, but we'll give you a bit more details probably over the weekend, or maybe upload a separate video with all the full details and the lineups from both rosters. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. That will be up over the weekend, hopefully. Like I said, if you want to nip over to Twitter, make sure you voted on the poll for Throwdown, who's going to face Jay Lethal next week in the main event for the United States Championship. At the moment, I think it is Shinsuke still winning. Let's have a quick look. See if anyone else has voted since the last time. Nope, we've still only got 4 votes on the poll. I'm hoping we get some more. Shinsuke Nakamura is currently winning with 2 votes. John Morrison has 1, and the Macho Man Randy Savage has 1 vote as well. So it's really tight, actually. 2 or 3 votes could really swing that in anybody's direction. So definitely go over and check that one out. And of course, there will be another poll for Octane here as well about who is going to face off against the Young Bucks next week on Octane for the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships. Your choices will be Time Splitters, Alex Shelley and Kushida. Obviously, the Dynasty after their big win earlier, Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee. We're going to give you Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta after their big win against the Lucha Dragons. And then, of course, just one of the strongest teams we have currently on the Octane roster, reDragon. So the winner of that poll will go on to face off against the Bullet Club's the Young Bucks next week on Octane. Like I said, there is a link to the Twitter page in the description below. But I think that's about all I've got to tell you. Of course, if you have enjoyed this episode, then please do let me know by hitting the like button and the subscribe button if you're not already. It would be great. I've noticed the other day, actually, on my analytics that the majority of my views actually come from non-subscribed people. So if you are not subscribed yet, then definitely do it, because it means you get a nice little buzz every time I upload a video, and you don't miss out on any of the cool content that we're putting forward in this brand new universe mode, because there will be a few surprise secret episodes here and there. Might upload a random King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring, or a little tournament for a number 1 contendership. There's anything could pop up at any sort of time, so yeah, definitely check that out. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon for our next episode of Mayhem.